at the forefront of politics.
Our enemy is Trump. He is the enemy. We got to unite. If we're not a united party, we lose to Trump.
On the front lines of activism.
There's certain fights, if we don't engage, they win. This is a fundamental question of who we are.
And delivering your daily dose of comedy.
Donald Trump, when he had his physical, they had his blood pressure, and mine is higher than his. Oh. And the irony is mine is higher because of him.
From the blue wave.
We flipped. Enough seats to take control of the House. We control the House.
To 2020 and beyond. This is the Dean Obeidallah Show on Sirius XM Progress, Channel 127.
And welcome to the show, brothers and sisters of the Resistance, Friday, January 14th. I'm Dean Obeidallah. I am back. Well, I was here yesterday, but I'm returning again tonight. I'll be here every day. Why not? Lot to cover. Hoping to be your MBFF. I'll be there all weekend for you. Even though I won't be here, I am there for you. On Twitter at Dean Obeidallah, Facebook.com/Dean Radio, or send me an email, comment, suggestions. I truly love to hear from you. Dean at DeanRadio.com. Did a lot of radio interviews today. I was on Tom Hartman's show and Stephanie Miller's show and even Rick Unger's show, and NPR recorded it with Michelle Martin for All Things Considered, talking about Nazis, suing Nazis. And I'm glad we're getting the message out there that none of us are going to cower to the Trump-loving Nazis. We're not going to do it. And tomorrow, unless there's breaking news, I'll be on Joy Reid's show at 10 a.m. and then back again 11:45 a.m. near the end to talk about the Nazi stuff. Before that, we'll be talking about politics of the day at the top of this show. So I hope you always tune into Joy Reid's show. I think it's the best show on cable news. I think it's fabulous. I learn a lot. Before we get into the big topics, and you're my guest, I'd love to hear from you tonight a lot. Although we have a lot of guests, we have time in between. First, we need a little laughter. Colbert got some jokes for us, helps us get into the first topic. Here is Colbert last night on his show talking about Donald Trump's claims on foreign influence and how he's cool with it, and it's just off the charts garbage. Clip number 1, please.
Every night I stand here and I make jokes about all of Donald Trump's lies. But today, I think I might owe him an apology. Because it turns out it's even worse if he tells the truth. Because people are, I think, rightfully freaking out over an honest answer Donald Trump gave to a pretty simple question from George Stephanopoulos.
Your campaign this time around, if foreigners, if Russia, if China, if someone else offers you information on an opponent, should they accept it or should they call the FBI?
I think maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening.
Sure, I mean, a campaign accepting help from a foreign country is against the law, but since when is breaking the law a crime? I mean, do both. Why not? Do the wrong thing and the right thing. Let's just kill two birds with one crime.
And then you had Colbert talking about Trump wanting to accept help from Norway. For some reason, he loves Norway. As a reminder, when Donald Trump was demonizing Africa and Haiti as S-hole countries, he was saying, why can't we get more people from Norway? Well, here's Colbert on Trump is willing to accept help from Norway. Clip number 2, please.
Trump even gave a terrible example to prove his terrible point.
If somebody called from a country, Norway, we have information on your opponent. Oh, I think I'd want to hear it.
Okay, George, I'll play your little game. How about I get a little dirt from a harmless little country like Norway? Or Sweden? Or Finland? Or just randomly heading east here, Russia? What's the difference? Norway, Russia, both cold, both very cold. Right now, you got to imagine Robert Mueller is just getting home with all of his boxes after clearing out his office, turns on the TV, and he's like, damn it, honey, I'm going back to work. I'll see you in another 2 years. I don't understand.
We need Mueller back. Bob Mueller, come on, buddy. So Donald Trump, because of this firestorm that happened over the last few days on this, the idea of Donald Trump openly saying, I'll commit a felony to win re-election, that's what he's saying to everyone, went on Fox and Friends this morning, as I call it, Fox and White Friends, to talk to his white friends about getting dirt and him trying to walk it back and explain what he really meant, which just made it worse. And here's the king of dumb talking to other dummies on Fox and White Friends. Clip 3.
If I was, and of course you have to look at it, because if you don't look at it, you're not going to know if it's bad. How are you going to know if it's bad? But of course you give it to the FBI or report it to the Attorney General or somebody like that. But of course you do that. You couldn't have that happen with our country, and everybody understands that. And I thought it was made clear. In fact, I actually said at the beginning, I think I said I'd do both. But how are you going to, if you don't hear what it is, you're not going to know what it is. I mean, how can you report
How do you
something
know it's
that you
bad
don't
if you don't listen to it?
So, Mr. President,
No, they say, he would accept it. Well, if I don't listen, you're not going to know. Now, if I thought anything was incorrect or badly stated, I'd report it to the Attorney General, the FBI. I'd report it to law enforcement. Absolutely.
That was not edited in any way, just so it's clear. That was just pure stupid going on, and Fox and Friends going, you're right, of course, you're a king. You're a god. Whatever you say is right. And the anchor, I don't even know her name, was saying, but how would you know if it's bad or not until you get, well, I don't even know if that means bad or good. Here's a law. Let me tell you the policy behind the law so it's really clear, because it's not being articulated well enough on cable news. Everyone knows the law by now. You cannot accept help from a foreign government, nor can you even accept anything of value from a foreign government or a foreign national, meaning just a random person who's not a U.S. citizen who wants to contribute something of value, and that's the federal statute, how it's defined, to your campaign. Now, anything of value includes, of course, money would be one thing, can't take that. Or, as the Federal Election Commission and our federal courts have determined, things of value are not just money. Opposition research is clearly considered something of value, and that's a holding by the Federal Election Commission before. So there's no doubt getting dirt from a foreign government is something of value, and you're violating our federal laws if you accept it. So you might go, well, what's the big deal of getting something from another country? Let me explain why. Here's the big top line. Top line is we don't want foreign interference in our election. Here's the practical thing, but for some reason it's not being talked about. What happens is a foreign government, if you say you're going to accept help from a foreign government in a campaign in terms of dirt on your opponent, what you're doing is incentivizing the other government getting in the world of spying on our candidates running for office in this country, gathering dirt on the candidate you don't like, the one that's not going to help your country, and giving it to their opponent. So help the person win the election who is best for your country, not for our country, but for your country. In fact, that's exactly what Russia did. And don't take my word for it. I have the Mueller report, and I will read the quote where Robert Mueller said that exact thing. He said the investigation established that the Russian government perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome. And that the Trump campaign, expected it would benefit electorally from information stolen and released through Russian efforts. So here's the thing being missed in cable news. I don't know why they're not going to the next step. It's not, they'll say, no, we don't want foreign interference. Most people go, oh, yeah, I don't. But what do they mean by that? It literally is this. Russia sees Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. They don't like Hillary. They're fearful that her policies are going to be bad for them economically and in their own geopolitical dreams of more power. So what they do is get involved in our campaign to help Donald Trump, which they did, absolutely did. There's no disputing that, and hurt Hillary. In 2020, if Donald Trump is saying to all the world nations out there, I'll take whatever you're going to give me, then Russia could say, well, we love Trump. We don't like Biden, so we're going to send our Russian spies who are here in America and around the world to get dirt on Joe Biden and then give it to the Trump campaign to use, meaning Russia is picking the candidate and helping the candidate win who is best for Russia, not best for the United States of America. That's the problem with this. And I don't know why it's not talked about clearly on cable news. That's why we should all be opposed to it. It's not just a talking point, top line thing. This is an actual impact. Do you want Russia to be picking and helping candidates win who are good for Russia, not good for the United States? No, that's why we have federal law. That's the same reason in the Constitution, which is this is a different issue, not to put them together, but the same idea. The emoluments clause was the idea that our president should not accept anything of value from foreign governments because they don't want them to be effectively bribed. That was the anti-corruption provision of the Constitution, folks. So you've got this. There's no doubt about it, what this is really about. And where are the Republicans, my friend? Where are they? You got a couple speaking out, but that's for show. Here's Mitch McConnell last night with Laura Ingraham being asked about theirs. Here's Mitch McConnell, who in my view will go down as the villain of the decade because he predates Trump in what he did with Obama. And here he is defending Trump on this very thing, the allegation or the admission that Trump's saying that I would take help from a foreign government. Here's clip number 4.
Any kind of appropriate oversight, the case is closed. Why don't we move on?
Do you think the president made a mistake in the way he answered that question when he said, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't? You know, I'd hear him out. Would you answer that question that way?
Well, he gets picked at every day over every different aspect of it. But the fundamental point is they're trying to keep the 2016 election alive and the investigation alive when the American people have heard enough.
That's just bullshit. But does it matter, folks? This is and you want to know what's even worse than words? 2 days ago, Senator Mark Warner, the Democrat from Virginia, he's vice chair of the Senate Intel Committee, introduced legislation that had a good deal of bipartisan support, that any campaign that is contacted and offered foreign assistance must tell the FBI. You would think if Republicans are really on board with not having Russia help Trump win re-election, they would go along, but they didn't. And Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee, a Republican, got on the floor last night and prevented unanimous consent that let this go forward quickly. And she said, no, it will make every person, even a volunteer in the campaign, be legally obligated to contact the FBI if someone offers them information from a foreign country, which first of all practically makes no sense. Is Russia going to find some guy or woman knocking on the door and go, hey, I know you're a low-level volunteer, but we've got some really confidential information we'd like to help your candidate with. But as Mark Warner said in response to that lie by Marsha Blackburn, because she's a Republican, so she's a liar, he said it's not accurate. The only thing that would have had to be reported is if the agent of a foreign government or a national offered that something that was already prohibited. So they had to do something that was prohibited information. Not everyone on the campaign has to go to the FBI about it. And Chuck Schumer responded on the Senate floor yesterday about Marsha Blackburn, how disgraceful it is that our Republican friends cower before the president when they know that the things he does severely damage democracy. So that's where we are. You've got Donald Trump, who has committed crimes. There's no doubt he's committed crimes. Zero doubt. Southern District of New York, U.S. Attorney there has made it clear he's individual one in a crime, in a criminal conspiracy to violate Federal Election Commission laws. Robert Mueller outlined 10 potential crimes. I'm telling you as a lawyer that he clearly violated witness intimidation, and that's one felony, and obstruction of justice that goes along with it. That's 2 felonies right there. And the lawlessness of this administration goes on and on and on, because yesterday we found out, Kellyanne Conway, that there was a determination made by the Office of Special Counsel, not related to Mueller, it's a different special counsel. It's a government watchdog group. It's a Trump appointee who runs it. Just so it's clear, a Trump appointee runs this office and call for Kellyanne Conway to be fired for violating the Hatch Act because while working for the federal government, she's doing political stuff. And you might be going, well, First Amendment, whatever. These are the laws, folks. You want to change the law. That's different. Don't violate the law and go, the law shouldn't be there. This law has been there for 80 years. She violated, she taunted them, she mocked the law, going blah, 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 blah. And what did Trump say today? He was asked about it on Fox News. Are you going to fire Kellyanne Conway? Of course he's not. I'm surprised he didn't say I'm going to promote her. What he said, though, says so much about Trump and the dictator that he is, the authoritarian. He said, I'm not going to fire her. She's loyal. She's loyal, folks. It doesn't matter if you're committing crimes, you're violating laws. If you're loyal, and only as long as you're loyal, are you in that inner circle. Just like an authoritarian, like a dictator, like someone like Sisi in Egypt, or Erdogan in Turkey, or Putin in Russia, his buddy. As long as you're 100% loyal, as long as you do exactly what you want, the leader wants, they love you. But the minute you walk out of that circle, you're in trouble. In fact, Don McGahn, Trump has been attacking his former White House counsel for telling the truth under oath to Robert Mueller, that Donald Trump wanted him to fire Robert Mueller. And Trump today actually suggested that Don McGahn lied under oath. So Don McGahn's got to clear his name. If not, then maybe he's lying. I don't think so. But here's my bottom line. And let's take some calls. We've got, by the way, Congressman Joe Neguse coming on in a little bit, but we'll take calls before him and after him. First time he's on. Young guy from Colorado. He's only been in Congress for 6 months now. 35 years old, son of African immigrants, really he's a star. This guy's like a star on the rise. So I'm so glad we got him on. But here's my bottom line. Trump is the GOP, and the GOP is Trump. And the GOP, and especially Mitch McConnell, in my view, are complicit in Donald Trump's misconduct. And I don't mean criminally, that's different. I mean morally. They are every part of this. They've bought in, they embolden him, they protect him. And what are we going to do about it? And I think that we not only have to focus on beating Trump, but McConnell's up for re-election, Lindsey Graham's up for re-election. We got to target them. And we had the Democrat running against Lindsey Graham already on the show. But we've got to make sure we not only knock out Trump, we knock out some of these enablers who have been in there. And it's going to be a tall order. Those are tough states, South Carolina and Kentucky. But we got to do it. But these guys are just as complicit. They're all about this. Let's take a break, come back, take some calls. Then we'll have the congressman for about 10, 12 minutes, and we'll go back and take more calls after that. So 866-997-4748. Love to hear from you right after this break.
You're listening to the Dean Obeidallah Show on Sirius XM's